Okay, we're on, Kirsten. We're here with Joe Devito, who just gave a phenomenal stand-up set.
Thanks.
Now, Devito showed a good showing. There were people here like 2 minutes ago. Now, Joe,
trust us, there were people here.
Now, you've been a comedian for about
It'll be 9 years this summer.
Okay. Now, when did you first learn that you were funny?
I'd say when I was a kid, because I had some very funny relatives, and I remember my uncles making me laugh so much and thinking, it's something, I respect that. I like laughing at the dinner table, and then I think when I was growing up, I would see that, if you can interrupt class and get your classmates to laugh, it's a good thing to do.
Nice. We don't have too many troublemakers here at Devito as far as class clowns, but if we have a few, so they know that they have a career eventually, maybe on stage doing stand-up.
Sure.
Now we were talking earlier before the show, and about sort of the odd places that comedians go. You mentioned you had a friend who did a stand-up in a cafeteria.
Yeah, Jamie Lissow, very funny.
Jamie Lissow, yeah, check him out. Google him, Wikipedia, whatever. Now, would you have a most memorable performance or stand-up that comes to mind?
Wow, it's so hard to think. Like sometimes people say, "What was the worst one?" And there's like so many that have been just doing shows in places where you walk in. I remember doing a show in a bar where I walked in, and there was a band playing, and there was a mechanical bull in the bar, and I walked in and I was looking around like, this is going to be awful. And the guy who was running the show said, "Oh, no, we have you in another room." And then he walked me into an even worse room that was attached to it. Okay. So, but you never know. I mean, the good thing about comedy is if you can be seen and you can be heard, you just need a light and a microphone. Never judge. I did a show in New York City once. It was 2 people in the audience, and the guy was from Sweden. And she had to translate a lot of the jokes for him. And it's easy to look at a small crowd and be like, "Oh, this is going to stink," But if you go up with a good attitude, they were awesome, and they were really fun, so you never know. And I always tell people, you never know, it could be the most fun you have as a performer.
Okay. Yeah. Now, where do you go from here? So, I don't really know too much about the stand-up comedy circuit. Like, where do you go from here? I know you have a whole bunch of shows lined up this year, but where do you see yourself in the future?
Oh, okay. What's kind of nice is that when I started doing this, I wasn't someone who dreamed about being stand-up when I was a kid. So it was all like, you can do this. I just tried it and I liked it, and then it became my job. So my hope is to just keep getting better and better at it. And I don't really have any plans. Like, people think, well, then you get a sitcom, you do movies. I just love doing stand-up comedy.
That's great.
And it's a blast.
Now, do you have any advice for aspiring comedians out there? I don't know if anyone's actually going to watch this. Hopefully, maybe you put this on your website. People will watch this. But
link that'll bring maybe 3 more.
3 more, 5 more. That's what it's all. This is going to be on YouTube, so maybe.
Then it's on YouTube.
Maybe it'll go viral.
Well,
who knows?
Who knows?
This could be the funniest.
Hey, it might even be on MySpace, which is
actually that's
maybe
a step
2 or 3 more people.
That's a step down. I think MySpace is a little step down.
We'll on Facebook. We'll tweet something.
We'll shoot for Facebook, Twitter. Now. Advice for aspiring comedians?
Yeah, get on stage. Write and get on stage, and there's no other way around it. Class can, if you take a class somewhere, it can save you some time. But the only way you really learn is to just get up in front of an audience. If you don't have a club near where you live, start something at a coffee house, even at a Starbucks. Come in on like a Tuesday night. Just buy a little bass guitar amp and a microphone and say, "Hey, we'll do it." And the thing I'll tell people is I did. Last Comic Standing in 2006. And I made it to semifinals, and when they interviewed me, they said, "Did you try out last year?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Well, what happened?" I said, "Well, I had a panic attack." Because you're in an empty room with these judges looking at you. It's stressful. So they said, "Well, what's different between this year and last year?" And the difference was in that one year, I performed 625 times. Which I know in New York it's easier because you can run around, but still, you can do that, open mics and all that stuff. And that meant there were certain jokes that I told 400 times. And the more reps you get in, the better you get at it. It's not like playing a guitar where you can sit in your bedroom and do it by yourself. So, yeah. But I'll say this: if you're thinking about doing stand-up comedy, I pretty much divide my life into the time before I did stand-up comedy and everything after. It completely changed my life.
Great.
Changed what I do for a living. Changed the way I look at the world, and you can't beat it. So if you're thinking about doing it. Do it.
Great advice from Joe Devito. Hopefully, are you going to be back next year?
I don't know. Hopefully, I would love to come back in the area sometime.
Greg, I think, signed you up. He just gave a thumbs up. I don't know if that's a formal agreement, if you're going to come back.
Thumbs up? Thumbs up is legally binding. Yeah. So, actually, I blathered on for an hour, and I have to come up with a whole different hour for next year.
Okay, this was, how long are we going, Kirsten?
4 minutes, 53 seconds.
You can blabber all the time. You're great at it.
I'm done.
You're great. Okay, we're done. We're done. This is the funniest interview on YouTube. Thank you, Kirsten.
Thanks, guys.
Right button.